Yeah, thank you very much for having me for this interview. Actually, my name is Fazal Afridi. I belong to Afridi tribe, which is usually known as Ephraim in Israel, as a lost tribe from Khyber Agency, which is usually known as Havo. And I have been working for the rights of the Pashtun people, for their right to self-determination, their independence, their control over their resources. So I have been working for the rights of the Pashtun people right from the beginning. It's almost 25 to 30 years that I've been working for the rights of the Pashtun people, which you consider as one of the lost tribes. So you can hear from the reports recently after the 9/11, under the so-called war on terror, the Pashtuns in the Pakistani occupied area have been persecuted, by the Pakistani military establishment and the Pakistani army. You will be astonished to know that during this so-called war on terror, the Pakistani military killed more than 75,000 Pashtuns, and 32,000, almost 32,000 Pashtuns have been forcibly disappeared, and thousands of homes and markets were destroyed by Pakistani military. And Pakistani military used F-16 jet bombers, artillery, and every kind of weapon against these innocent Pashtuns in the guise of this so-called war on terror. And you will be astonished to know that not a single Al-Qaeda or Taliban leader was killed by the Pakistani military during those operations. Only innocent Pashtuns were killed, and the main reason was to occupy these areas by the Pakistani military and to completely rob us of our resources and our Pashtun identity. So for that reason, we established a movement named PTM, Protection Movement, which is working for the rights of the Pashtun people. We have organized, protest rallies and conferences, not only on the local level. We confronted the Pakistani army in Pakistan, and on international level, I have been representing the Pashtun people at all the forums, including the United Nations, and here in Geneva at the United Nations Human Rights Council, during the 3 sessions which are held every year. I organize protests, the conferences. So for the last 4 years, we have been creating awareness about the Pashtun people to the whole world, that we have been labeled as terrorists by the Pakistani army, but actually we are not terrorists. We have been used as gun fodder by the international community with the help of the Pakistani military establishment. So we are working for the protection of our rights and for the protection of our identity, because under the Sharia laws, then you would have heard of that the Pakistan has again signed an unannounced deal with the TTP, the Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan, to recapture, to re-enter the Pashtun areas and introduce Sharia laws. That means when they introduce these Sharia laws, we will lose our identity. We will lose our Pashtun Wali, which is related to, Torah and Torah traditions, are old traditions, which are completely different from the Sharia laws. So there is a constant attack for the last 40, 50 years on the identity of Pashtun. If something is not done, we will lose completely our, traditions, which are connected to Torah, which are connected to Jews.
Please tell me, in your childhood, you was hearing about the connection between the Afridis and Bnei Israel? You were speaking about this in your home?
Yes, in almost every Pashtun family, you will hear about it, that we are Bani Israel. Actually, the term is, differently used. Actually, there is so much hatred created by the state of Pakistan. I don't know what's the reason, against the Jews. They don't say Jews because the state is, creating hatred against the Jewish people, but they say that we are Bani Israel, despite the fact that there is so much hatred, through a systematic propaganda by the state of Pakistan and even in Afghanistan. But still, they say our family members, our elders, they always tell us that we belong to Bani Israel, and you can see that Pashtuns in this region are completely different from other communities and their traditions and their way of life and their appearance. So we didn't know any connection with our Jewish brothers, but we used to say, and our elders used to say, that we are Bani Israel.
What have they told you about Bnei Israel? You can remember any story, any kind of information, specific information that they were speaking about?
That's where it is disconnected, We know about our traditions, which are similar to the Jewish people, or the Torah traditions, but they don't know the rest because, Pashtuns have been very weak in writing, and there are very short, small number of books which have been written. So from there is a disconnect. They know that they are Bani Israel, they have the same tradition, and they even don't know about from where these traditions have come. They call it Pashtun Wali. Behind that, tradition, there is a blackout, and that, the thread has to be connected with the fact what we have oral traditions that have come from generation to generations, that has to be connected what these traditions are. So we need to inform the people about that. That's important.
I see. Can you tell the people what is the Pashtun Wali? What is written in the Pashtun Wali? It's a book?
There is no book. It needs to be, prepared. But there are normal things like hospitality, the respect for their elders. That's, very, very important in this region, and the protection of the people. If somebody, wants protection for the Pashtun people, it was till now, till recently, until the tribal system has been abolished by the Pakistani state, as I have said, that they want to introduce Sharia laws. So even somebody, a friend, who has committed some crimes, even if he comes to our protection, we will protect him from the enemy, and we will protect him from the state. So this is our, a kind of hospitality. And there are so many other traditions. We say that if somebody kill our elders or do something wrong with us, we don't forget it. There is a kind of revenge We don't forget it even after 100 years. We say that after 100 years, it's, too early. So our memory is very, strong, and we do not forget things, so that's the same like the Jews. They didn't forget about, their history, their language. So the same is with the Pashtun people. With oral traditions, we transfer, our history, our, disputes and everything to our children's, and we never forget about, who has done good with us and who has done wrong with us.
And which kind of tradition you remember that was equivalent to Israeli, to the Israel tradition?
One thing is important that, yes, in the region, the people used to eat camel, even for the Eid al-Adha, they sacrifice animals, and usually the camels are sacrificed in the region, but Pashtuns never sacrifice the camel, and they do not eat camel meat.
What about the milk of the camel?
Not even milk. I don't know. I don't think, because we do not, even to take the meat. So and the milk will also be the same thing. So another important aspect is that in the whole region, to marry the wife of a deceased brother, it's only in the Pashtuns, not in other people in the area. So I have been personally witness to it, and it is still now this the same tradition. The wife of the deceased brother is married by another brother. So something like that. There are so many others. Maybe they don't come to my mind. You can point it out. But so many traditions, they are similar.
What should be done in these days to build the bridge between the Bnei Israel Pashtuns and the Israeli Bnei Israel? Yes. What should be done?
Yeah. It's very important question. Thanks to the Facebook and other social medias, the connections to have contacts with each other, it has become very easy, but there are still a lot of problems. We need to write books on the important traditions, about the connections. That's important. But there is an important need of, traveling to each other, meeting each other. And I think there needs to be a beginning. As you know, I have already visited Israel, and I think there is a need of a lot more visit of the influential liberal Pashtuns who want to see their Jewish brothers. So I think people-to-people contacts are very important. Direct contacts are very important, because there are so many misunderstandings created by certain enemies between the two brothers. So I think if we create direct contacts, we use the social media, the other medias to interact with each other, I think very soon we will have a very strong relationship with each other, mutually beneficial relationship with each other, because not only in ethnic terms, not only in the blood terms, but on the resources terms also. Israel has technology. Israel is very famous for its agriculture technology and in the field of information technology. We are sitting on the resources, lithium, petrol, and other resources which are very important for the modern day world. So I think there can be a cooperation between the two nations on mutually beneficial level in that field also, and that in the end will further cement our relationship with each other. We will come to know each other. We will know the traditions of each other, and that personal contact. In the beginning, we can have visits in the Europe and the America, because the people who have, the nationalities in these areas, the diaspora, which is, very big diaspora, we can develop contacts first with them, and then slowly and gradually we further cement our relationship. Will be very beneficial for both the brothers in the days to come.
Mm-hmm. There is anything we need to be careful from in this progress?
It's very important because, we are living in a region where there is a lot of terrorism, there is insecurity. We have been passing through wars for the last 40 years. So I think there is a problem, and a lot of people have been radicalized. There will be some security concerns for the Israeli brothers. But slowly and gradually, if we work on the region, especially for the education of the people, to educate them differently rather than what is being, how they have been educated. The curriculum is very, dangerous for the Pashtun people, which is, not good to make them better people. They are just teaching them a curriculum to make, warriors and terrorists. So I think there is a need of, educational reforms for the Pashtun people. And the most important thing is to make the Pashtun people independent in their land. Only then they will be able to, have independently create a relationship with whom they want a relationship. And definitely there is a possibility of creating a better relationship between the two brothers. So there will be in the beginning the security issues, but for the diaspora, the Pashtun diaspora in Europe and America, in Australia, I think contacts can be established, conferences can be organized, different meetings can be organized between the two community, which will pave the way for a better relationship between the two brothers.
Mm-hmm. I see. And around this topic of education, there is some subjects that we need to be careful from them. Maybe what is allowed to say, what is not allowed to say, what is allowed to put zoom in, not to put zoom in. What do you think about it?
Yeah, for the moment, the Pashtun people are very sensitive about religion, most of the people, they are afraid that if we want to establish relationship with our Jewish brothers, then we will have to convert. I think they will have to be convinced that we are not working on conversion. We are just working on establishing a relationship between the two brothers, which is a blood relationship. That is important. And the rest, slowly and gradually, the relationship will flourish, and the thinking, the mindset will change with the passage of time. But religion in the beginning, it should not be discussed. That's the most important thing. And slowly and gradually, I think with the passage of time, we should not be very active. We should be very slowly, putting the information, informing the people, through sporadic, sometimes putting some information in the media. That will help for a certain time, and later we can work aggressively on establishing a relationship. Talk about the Jewish people.
Very interesting.
The moment you talk about then you are immediately, by the governments in the region, the people, they accuse you of being agents of the Jewish people. So that's now considered a little bit bad, but hopefully after the Abraham Accord, these countries in the region will also accept Israel and create some kind of diplomatic relationship with Israel. Then I think that problem and that stigma will be removed, and everybody will be able to speak openly and speak openly about the relationships. So you can see that even the Pakistani government is, talking to the Israeli government. They are sending delegations, but everything is done in secret because they are afraid of a backlash because most of the people are radicalized Muslims. So that's important, that we should be very careful. We should be slow and steady now. And after, when the ground is, prepared, we should be active and launch a very, convincing and important campaign for the relationship between the two brothers.
How do you see there are people in the Taliban which are speaking about the possibility to make a connection with the government of Israel? I suppose you heard about it also. Some people inside the Taliban speaking about this.
Yes, I have seen in the media. I think there was the spokesperson of Taliban, which was very mild on Israel when he was asked about Israel, about the context with Israel, relationship with Israel. He said that we don't have any problem with Israel.
Right.
So it means that even it's strange that even the hardline Taliban are also a little bit, you can say, sympathetic. They are not very harsh on Israel and the Jewish people. So yes, of course, there is that sentiment, and even about their origin, the Taliban also say the same thing, that we are Bani Israel. The only thing is, that the policy of the state, of Pakistan and Afghanistan, that is not, still, as no diplomatic relationships have been established. So that is why the people cannot openly say certain things. So, but I think the people like you and me and so many other friends, we have prepared a ground to launch a better relationship based on strong foundations in the near future. I think it will be possible.
So you think it can be a right thing now to send our right hand to the Taliban, to people in Taliban, and to tell them Assalamu alaikum?
I think it's good for Israel to establish a relationship with all the people, but forcing them to respect the fundamental rights of the people of that country. That's the first point and most important point. The rights of women, to work, the rights of girls to go to schools. Those should be the important points. And two, not to interfere with the old, centuries-old traditions of the Pashtun people. That points should be raised with them, and the rest, I think, it will be beneficial for both of us to have a relationship directly with the Pashtun people. And even if you can contact the Taliban, I think I don't see any, wrong in it.
What is your advice to us as Israelis? What we need to do to support the Afghans, to support the Pashtuns and the people in Pakistan nowadays? What we need to do? What is your recommend?
I think the most important thing is to organize meetings between the two communities, and the second thing is to establish not only a political relationship with the governments in the region, but economic relationship in the region. And Pashtuns, they don't need any financial help. If we can cooperate in the field of technology, in agriculture and information technology, and in other areas, I think it will be beneficial for both the nations. So economic and political relationships, and on the other hand, writing books on the traditions of the Pashtun people, creating links between the two people. I think that will be the best strategy, and working through social media to interact with each other. That would be the best policy for the moment. And later we can enlarge this relationship in the days to come.
Great. Okay, so I think at this point, we will pass the interview. I suppose there will be a lot of questions more, and maybe also people will want to ask you some questions after, so I will send you the interview. So if you will have some time to answer them, and we will continue to keep in touch and to try to do the best.